Hey, this is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, coming to you today from inside corporate headquarters, actually my kitchen, my dining room table, with a AA word of the day for December 20 for December 29th, 2024. This is a very short reading, and the word of the day is the joy of living. Therefore, the joy of good living is the theme of AA's 12th step. And that quote is from 12 Steps and 12 Traditions of AA, page 125. And here's the commentary. AA is a joyful program. Even so, I occasionally balk at taking the necessary steps to move ahead and find myself resisting the very actions that could bring about the joy I want. I would not resist if those actions did not touch some vulnerable area of my life, an area that needs hope and fulfillment. Repeated exposure to joyfulness has a way of softening the hard outer edges of my ego. Therein lies the power of joyfulness to help all members of AA. And once again, this is another one that hits me directly. There's a saying in AA, when you point your finger at something, you got three fingers pointed back at you. Like my fingers are pointed back. And this is pointing at me because I do balk at things. Uh, what are the vulnerable areas of my life? Uh, Still holding on to ego. Still holding on to a little bit of the idea that, my life isn't unmanageable without AA. Because I like to think I have the power on my own to do it. And, I was stuck in that rut since I was about 8 years old and never was able to climb out of it till I got into AA. That it's okay to give up. Yeah, I was sort of like uh, Atlas. He had to roll that ball up to the top of the hill and then down. Then it came down every day, and I would spend my time figuring out how I'm going to get it up to the top. When every single day it fell down, and all that effort that I made didn't make much difference at all. And yeah, I really had a monkey mind. I've never heard anyone other than Buddhists explain it that way, and even it doesn't need a verbal explanation. What I thought of when I heard those words pretty much fit the situation. So I have to remember that I got to practice these principles in all of my affairs. I've got to remember the first three steps, well, all of them, but the first three, that my life is unmanageable and that I need a higher power who could manage my life. And eventually I get there, but, I kick and scream just like a little kid who doesn't want to do something. And it is true, repeated exposure to joyfulness has a way of softening the hard outer edges of my ego. And I've mentioned before, and I'll mention it one more time before the end of the year is out, my resentment of a fellow AA. She used to go to a certain meeting that I went to that I really liked. It was a big meeting. And somehow she would get up and start talking about a dog, and I didn't hear too much about sobriety. And I had a very great resentment of her. And I thought over the years, what was it? Uh, One, she wasn't playing by my perceived set of rules. And this is how you run a meeting, and the secretary should stop it and say, focus on alcoholism. But the poor lady was suffering from cancer, and the only joy she had in her life was her dog. And I found that out after. And we went out for a coffee, and we became good friends. And she was still alive when I left Providence in 2018, but has since died. She was, well, I'm elderly, but she was older than me. And it was her joyfulness at the program, and she had more time than me too, and that she softened the hard outer edges of my ego. So I saw it wasn't all about me, and it wasn't all about rules. And some people had something to say, and they might have not used the word uh, alcoholism, but she was, you know, she knew what she was talking about, and I learned a lot from her, a very lot. And of all the meetings I've been to, oh, I took my some guy on some guy asked me how many days you have, and I looked it up, and this is probably last Wednesday, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Now, what made me look it up that day when they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12,345? I couldn't believe it. I just, you know, and so I'm not the know it all. And I don't know. She had a joyfulness that I wanted. That's what they say about AA. If you want what we have, and just because you're in there and you get 20 years doesn't mean you have everything you want. You might see someone that's happy, happy with cancer, but happy with their dog, satisfied, joyful, who put me to shame and then became my friend. So God bless you all. Have a safe and sober 29th, and we will see you tomorrow, the 30th. We're getting close. That'll be New Year's Eve day, and we start a new year of sobriety. God bless.